Hey everybody, Mark Fly, your bid coach. Today I am here with Jason Pulliam from Vitality Marketing Firm. The reason that I asked Jason to speak to us today is he does have construction related clients, construction services, things like that. And I wanted to know a few things, how they're reacting in some of his clients. But before we do that, Jason, can you tell us about you and what you do?
Hello, my name is Jason Pulliam. I am the Performance Marketing Director for Vitality Marketing Firm, and we focus on a couple different industries, and two of them kind of go hand in hand with what we're talking about today. One of them is restaurants and retail, and those tie directly into a lot of new commercial construction, home services, and that's the other vertical that we serve as well.
Awesome. And to get right to the meat of it, so what I've seen, we deal with subcontractors and general contractors, service contractors, whatever the case is, and we're seeing a lot of trends. And of course, those trends are shaping themselves daily. By the time you get a data model kind of set up, and old school especially, it doesn't work. Or you've adjusted it, but the next day it's completely different. So what kind of trends are you seeing that your clients are more reacting to, maybe out of being scared or whatever the case is, uncertainty, they're kind of shifting. Are you seeing trends that way? And then for yourself, what kind of advice from your perspective of trends would you give them?
Sure. Well, to answer the first part of that question, the trends are changing rapidly. So even if we sit down and create a plan over Zoom and say, this is the direction that we're going to go, suddenly something changes within those worlds where some cities now have shut down all construction. So fortunately, it's not across the entire US, but some people can't even do construction. So now they still have to be in front of the eyes of their target market. How do you do that? So it's going back to the scratch pad and saying, okay, how can we make this work? And then also, even if they are able to do construction, maybe they started a project, they have funding, and they're doing the initial build out, or they're at the end of the phase. But where are they going to get more? Where are they going to fill this funnel with new work now that everything is slowed down? So we've really tried to sit down and look at it not as a rubber stamp, but as an individual basis of like, okay, you're to this point. You're after this type of customer. Where is that customer? How can we get in front of them? Maybe they're not traditional. Maybe they used to be on LinkedIn, but maybe they're spending more time on Facebook. How can we have you in front of them on Facebook, but maybe in a different way? Or how do we change up? You and I were talking a little bit earlier about LinkedIn. How do we change up and soften your image on LinkedIn so it doesn't sound so rigid? So that's been kind of a how focus and plans change so rapidly. And then I think your second question was more along the lines of how can they get out in front of people in some specific ways. And that's actually been the one that I've enjoyed, is because from the marketer's perspective, you can come up with plans, but somebody still has to execute them. So when you work with that business owner and say, all right, this is going to sound different than before, but I need you to go out and do this. It's been rewarding to see the ones that have actually followed along and done it have actually been the ones that are going out there and going, hey man, this is working. I'm getting sales, but I'm out there not really talking about myself. So that's been my next biggest thing to talk about is when you go out into the market now, you sound tone deaf to go, we provide new general construction. We provide new, we do new commercial plumb outs, and we do HVAC construction, whatever it is that they're providing. It's very tone deaf to just get in front of people and say, we still offer it. We're an essential business. You can still contact us. Well, most people know who's essential and non-essential at this point, if that even matters. So it doesn't connect with people. So when that slides across your social media channel and you see someone who says, we still want your business, of course you do. Everyone that has a job still wants someone to buy from them. So you're not giving them anything that they're like, wow, I want to hear what else this guy has to say. Right. But on the flip side, I have a couple of clients that have been just back and forth, maybe a text message or a phone call. They send me a picture and say, hey, I want to publish this. And we work through it and say, okay, that's a picture of a product that you sell, but how is that interesting or exciting to an end user? Someone who might be hiring you sees that in their feed. Are they getting excited? And so we work on, okay, let's put your smiling face in front of something that's more appealing to the customer. So we're getting your face back out there. If you're a smaller, general contractor, you are your brand. People recognize you and they start to call you just because they recognize your face. So being on social media, you've got to get your face back out there if you're that size of a brand. But from there, when you're out there talking, go out into the community and contribute however you can. It's no longer, okay, I provide new commercial construction and I won't possibly consider helping somebody with some type of little service work. If you see somebody on social media who has a small business and they need help with, coincidentally, their plumbing broke at the very same time that they had to all shutter their doors, jump back out there on social media and say, hey, I can't help you with your $10,000 total replacement of project X, but I can come in there and at least get it working for you so that you can weather this storm a little bit longer and keep moving down the road and maybe figure out other ways that you can make money. And then you have that content to share. So I'm not saying don't share anything, but I am saying go out onto your community and look around and say, where can I contribute? Some other ways that I've seen has been owners of HVAC or plumbing company going out into the community and buying food from these restaurants and turning around and giving it to another part of the community. So they'll buy food from a guy who has a whole lot of extra meat left over in his locker, and he has to get rid of it the next 2 weeks. He's going to throw it away anyway. So he's going to them and saying, I can't pay full price for your food like I used to, but what if we negotiate a deal where I buy your food at X price, and then I'll turn around and we'll go together and share this food with nurses that are on the front lines, or share your food. We'll go drop it off at grocery stores where those people are working really hard for us. So trying to find out where in the community he can take information or something and go help somebody else. That's really the biggest piece of the puzzle is you got to go out there and help the community to get in front of them. You can't just say, we're a home service provider. Choose us.
Right. That's awesome. That's that reminded me of an interview I did last week or week before with a fire protection company that was on the local news providing a service for the local fire departments, which was really, really cool. But I think I understand what you're saying. So kind of get out there and you want somebody to see who you are, not necessarily what you do yet. You want to stand out from the crowd.
And it's working. I think that's the rewarding part of the job. Is so I had one a couple of days ago, and he's like, "Hey, I just got 3 new installations on X product, but it was indirectly from people who just happened to see me online, and they connected other because some of his other posts were like, "Hey, we're out here, we're doing construction on this project, and we replaced 3 of his water heaters with 3 tankless water heaters, and it saved them a lot of space." But it was still, hey, we're helping the restaurant collect their valuable, get back valuable space within their business. So it was still focused on the customer, which was the restaurant. But people were starting to just kind of thumb back through their whole social media feed to kind of piece together who that actual business guy was because they'd never seen him before. Hey, who's this guy giving away food?
That's interesting. That's great advice, and I hope everybody's really listening to that. I find myself thumbing through LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter a little bit differently these days, and I think some people are doing that, which you're saying. And after we talked about this morning, I realized what they're doing is working because I'm actually paying attention more than I normally would to certain things and finding out, oh, I didn't even know who this guy was or what he did. So that's absolutely great advice. Before we go, and I want to thank you so much for your time this morning.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And so that everybody knows, we already did this once, and I forgot to push the record button. So this one came off great. Before we go, though, I want to ask you two different ways you can answer it. What is your favorite quote, or do you have one of your own that you would like to make famous?
I wish I had one of my own to make famous, but I'd probably butcher it just as much as I butcher quotes that I enjoy. So the one that I enjoy currently, somebody said, and I had to go check it to make sure it was real. But it's a quote from Ronald Reagan. The 9 scariest words in the English language are, "We're with the government. We're here to help." And I got a big kick out of that.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. All right, Jason, I want to thank you again so much for being here today. Again, this is Jason Pulliam with Vitality Marketing Firm. I'll have his information in the content here below. And thank you guys so much for being here today. Once again, this is Mark Fly, your bid coach. Stay safe, stay healthy, and be blessed.